Welcome to the first episode of Dentist on Air. This is Flying Dentist, and we're going to talk about the realities in life without anesthesia.
Please fasten your seatbelts.
Um, to be honest, I thought of starting this podcast simply because amongst talking to the friends and everything, I notice I have opinions about things, and then I bring up these discussions to people.
Mm,
And I enjoy the discussions, honestly, myself. And the people are enjoying it. So I was like, hey, it's the world of podcasts these days. So how about I go ahead and do this? Um, in
love it.
starting 2025, I actually set up the page on Spotify, Apple Music, chose a name, Dentist on Air, and then went ahead and signed up. And I was like, oh, no one ever used this username before. So I was like, I'll go ahead and I start. And I promised myself to do it and before end of the year. So here we are. It's December. It was challenging year for me, but it happened.
Nice.
So I'm honored to have you as my guest. Tony is one of the greatest mentors to me since
Huh.
I think we met in 2024, right?
I think
Uh,
so, or maybe 2023. Yeah.
yeah,
It, yeah.
2023. Oh my gosh. It
Yeah, I
has
think
been
so.
time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been listening actually. If we actually, you're right, 2023, because I've been listening to your podcast since 2023.
Nice.
And
Thank
that's
you.
why I
Appreciate
reached
it.
out to you. I was like, hey, I really enjoy your podcast and everything. And then you offered me, hey, let's do a podcast together.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah,
And then you
so
got your first taste.
yeah, and then and you got me to taste it.
Yeah.
So, and I really liked it. So, hey, here I am doing this because you actually invited me to your podcast. So, thank you for that.
No problem. Cue the applause sound effect.
I know.
Hey. Yeah.
So yeah,
No, it's great. You're doing a great job. It's exciting. And I think it's a cool niche topic too that not a lot of people talk about, but I'm sure people in the industry
yeah,
would be very interested, to know. So I think it's a very cool and niche topic. So I'm excited to hear.
yeah, there you go. So, to be honest, I had a couple of ideas to talk about with you today.
Sure.
Um, and again, talking about realities, life, or have a clear vision in life, right? So,
Mm,
it was really interesting to me. You know my background. We talked about it in the first episode. I'm originally from Iran. I built up my life all the way to Canada, and now I'm here in States. It was really interesting to me to get to know people, to make new connections, because every time I moved, the thing that hurt the most was the human resources I missed
mm,
in every step. Because career-wise, you're building your way up to it. Finances, it's challenging, but you are building your way up.
sure.
Um, Human resources takes time to build.
That's right.
Um, People you can trust, rely on, call friends, and go from there. Um, that part has been seriously challenging for me. And then once you build it up, I personally have been moving. I changed 4 cities in the past, or 5 cities actually in the past 4 years. I
So once
kept,
you build it up, you got to restart
I know,
again.
right? Yeah, and I'm like, okay, restart, restart, restart. So, it was interesting to me as a person, um, because when I was listening to your podcasts, I enjoyed it. Okay, so I reached out to you, total stranger,
Mhm.
um, but the fact that you reached out and invited me on, and then we became friends. Um, we have not seen each other
Right. In person.
in
Yeah.
person, right?
Right.
But then we got to know each other, we trusted each other, we helped each other. Technically, mostly you helped me grow. That's the way I think correct way to put it. But that was really interesting to me because I really valued it because I have encountered people in these cities I lived in. I reached out to
Mhm.
them. I tried to, as commonly people say, melt the ice and to try to build connections, and they still refuse you. Yet,
Yeah.
uh, yet someone white from Florida, you know what I mean? Just like virtually,
Yeah.
comes in and helps you grow. So it was really, really, I didn't want to bring the race comment like into this, but unfortunately it's a thing from like that's going on. Like even um like me came into States like as a newbie, right? My cousins are
Sure.
American born. And then they tell
Oh, well,
me,
okay.
"Hey, Cheyenne, don't go into Florida. Don't go to Texas. Don't go to Midwest. Don't go to," and I'm like, "Why?
Because
Why?
there's so
Why?"
many
Yeah.
conservatives. Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, it's because there's so many conservatives. Don't go there. Don't do this. Don't do that." And I'm like, "Hey, but my actual experience has been different."
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and if I could hop in there for a second.
yeah.
First of all, thank you for the kind words. That's very nice of you. And I think that's the problem with racism in politics nowadays.
Oh yeah.
We're like, we're either, on both sides too. I mean, like I have a lot of friends that are like, I'm never going to go down this street because it's ghetto. I go,
Hmm.
okay, well, yeah, there's a little bit of that. There's fear, sure. But that's also kind of the problem too, right? Because now automatically you see someone that's a minority that might live in the ghetto, for example,
True.
automatically you're prejudging them.
True.
And prejudging and racism, I think, are very close.
Hmm.
And I don't know if there's one person to blame or not. Like, when did it start? Did it start during slavery? I don't know, maybe, but there was slaves and racism before America came up with it. So
Yeah.
it's not like we invented it. I just think there's like this stigma to where people are just stuck in this comfort zone.
Yeah.
And not just with racism, but also politics, as we mentioned. And that's one thing I noticed with my podcast in particular is, you're always kind of stuck in these bubbles of your friends and family to where if it's outside that bubble, whether it's race, politics, ideologies,
It
like
may
what,
not fit anymore.
yeah, you're
Hmm.
uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable
Hmm.
in your own skin. If you're a Republican, you might be uncomfortable talking to a Democrat and vice versa. If you're from Iran, you might be uncomfortable talking to a white guy from Florida and vice versa. And I think
Hmm.
if you can kind of break those down and trust everybody a little bit,
True.
and I say this as a devil's advocate because I am very trusting to a certain extent, and I like
True.
to think I'm objective and I try to use critical thinking as best I can.
Yeah.
But I have been in situations where I've trusted people, not specifically in a certain race or background, but I've trusted people from all walks of life, and they've screwed me over. And I could have
Hmm.
easily said, "Ooh, screw that Spanish person, or screw that black
I know,
person, or
right?
screw that white person."
But you
But
didn't
yeah, you got to give them
generalize.
the benefit. Yeah, you got to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Hmm.
But also have your safeguards up because whether they're white, black, or from another country, it doesn't matter. There's just shitty humans out there. That's just the bottom
Oh yeah,
line.
I mean
You
that's the
don't know who
whole
they are.
world. It's just
Yeah,
um like my whole point was like there are good people and there are bad people
that's right.
everywhere.
That's right.
Doesn't matter if it's Canada, if it's States, if it's Iran, if it's China, if it's I don't know, France, like there
Yeah,
are good
everywhere.
people and bad people everywhere.
Yeah,
Um
just
and
like there's good dentists and bad
yeah,
dentists.
good dentists and bad dentists. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I would yeah.
And there's good podcasters and bad
And bad
podcasters.
podcasters.
Yeah,
There you go. I mean, it is subjective matter we're talking about. Like,
totally.
but the whole issue is like we can't generalize, right?
That's right.
And then give advice to people, oh, you know what? Just don't go to these dentists.
Right.
I
Exactly.
experienced it in my career too. So I think the fact that you kind of like go ahead and like, don't go to Texas. Don't go to
Right.
Florida. Man, like I've seen good people there.
Yeah.
I'm talking to a good one right now. Um,
Thanks. Yeah, it's the wrong
so
attitude to
so
have for sure.
exactly. So and I think that's the whole issue going on in the whole world right now because people forgot empathy
Yeah.
and people forgot how to care for each other and don't just judged each other beforehand. Like you don't even know this person.
Totally.
Um, and I do experience it in my career too. Like
Is that right?
a patient comes in and just looks at me.
Yeah.
And it's like, where are you from?
Oh,
Would it matter?
yeah. You never
What I
want to hear
mean?
that.
Why
Yeah.
would it matter? But again, me in the beginning, I was a bit sensitive to it because
Mm,
I never faced this before. In Iran, I was Iran. I was a practitioner. All of my patients were Iranians, so that question was never even brought up.
of course. Yeah.
Here I go in, I'm like, hey, I'm Dr. D. I'll be helping you today. How was your day? And instead of, saying, oh, thank you, my day was good. How about you? They look at me with attitude and then they're like, where are you from?
Yeah.
Or sometimes I get, um, I don't
What's
want
your
to
last
name a
name or something?
country. I don't want to name
Oh,
a
okay.
country. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, but anyway, so in the beginning, I was a bit sensitive to it, but I built resilience. I was like, let's change the conversation or let's answer them in a funny way to break the ice and then
Yeah.
just change it because I am the practitioner, my whole
That's right.
point, and I should be the bigger person in that conversation. And it's my career. It's different.
Totally.
If it was
Totally.
just like somewhere else and you're not comfortable, you can get out of that conversation. You don't
Yeah.
have to. But when it comes to your career, it's different.
Yeah. Well, and I can't believe they would even do that because you're about to go in my mouth. I don't want to piss you off.
Well, that's a funny way. That's
Like if
that's a
I
good
was the
way to look
patient,
at it, right, eh?
yeah. If I was the
Um,
patient, I would not. I would
you
not
would
start
not do
that.
that, right? No.
No, I wait till
Um,
afterwards. It's like, hey, and I
and
wanted to add something because
yeah.
kudos to you for having that attitude. Because what I really think the problem is, I don't think it's race or racism or we're prejudging as much. I think it's we're not taking accountability as humans.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you a perfect example because I don't want to talk too much of like we can point to many races and have this argument, but I
Yeah.
think it's more impactful if we could talk shit about something that we all agree with, which is Catholicism.
Yeah.
So priests screwed up.
Mm,
They screwed up big time in
yeah.
the Catholic culture because obviously
Yeah.
we talk about pedos and everything they've done with children.
Yes.
But the point here is though we're talking decades that they've done this and proven cases. More often than not, they're just not good priests, right? They take
True.
advantage of young boys and girls,
Mm-hmm.
mostly boys. So I say that because now a priest that's a great person, an amazing priest, has an awesome community, has a lot of responsibility, doesn't he? Because
Mm-hmm.
he has to change the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Because every person that goes in there, that's the first thing they're going to think about.
Yeah.
And when I say humans got to take accountability, so whether you're from Iran, if you're from Chicago in the ghetto, you're a white guy in Florida, you have a responsibility because you have to change the narrative. And I think
Mm-hmm.
sometimes as humans, we get so comfortable. Like a great example, I'll make fun of Florida for a second. The Florida man, right?
Mm-hmm.
The white guy with the Trump hat and he's got an
Yeah.
F-150 and all that.
F-150.
It's you don't want to change who you are,
No.
but you cannot be mad at people if they prejudge you.
Mm.
So
Yep.
I think at some point we kind of, and I
Yep.
blame rappers a little bit for what's been going on in the culture because I have so many great friends that are black that just decided to not jam out to rap music with their windows down and blaring
Yep.
because you pull up to like a Publix, everyone's going to prejudge you. And that's a horrible society to live in, but that is the society we're in. Like when you
Mm-hmm.
show up to a job interview, you want to wear a suit and tie.
Yeah.
You don't have to, but
You don't have
if you
to, but that's
if
the expectation.
this is the expectation. So if you
Yeah.
don't show up in a suit and tie and you show up in like, a Britney Spears shirt and some cut up jeans, you're probably not going to get the job, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we tailor our life and our culture and our beliefs for certain things, like a job interview. Why don't we do that for society? Why don't you dress and act a certain way when you go into a different spot? Like you're not going to act the same way when you go into an Applebee's versus a 5-star Michelin restaurant, right?
True.
You're going to have two
No.
different outfits, two
Two
different,
different
right?
outfits, two different, yeah.
yes, sir, no, ma'am. Like you're going to change your thing a little bit. And I think we have to take more accountability when we're out in the world because we
Hmm.
can't expect people to not prejudge us. It's just a human, it's a human nature. So I say all that because I think you're doing a great job by engaging in the conversation. You're not changing who you are, but you're
Oh
also
no.
just,
Yeah.
you're doing what you have to do to fit in that environment. And I
No,
think
exactly.
that's important.
Um, Mostly, honestly, in these awkward encounters, I ask questions.
Right.
I
That's a
think
great way to do
that's
it.
my best defense. I just answer question with a question without answering their question.
Amazing.
Yeah,
And
so
someone who's in sales, I love that. That's the
yeah,
best part. It's a
I
creative
mean,
conversation.
that's
Yeah.
it's just you have to do. I just try to dig in and focus more on
Mm,
their need rather than, talking about something that wouldn't even matter.
that's right.
So yeah, I mean, that's something that has been on my mind and I've been thinking about it for a while. So it was nice to hear your point of view on it as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, thank you for sharing because I know it's probably, especially now, I'm sure you probably look at this no matter who you are, where you come from. It's a very polarizing time across the world. And I think,
unfortunately, yeah.
yeah. And, one thing I've always kind of been raised on and always continue to work on myself is just fix your cul-de-sac. Like where you live, fix your cul-de-sac. That's your five, six, seven, eight neighbors, your community, the people you hang out with. And maybe it's not necessarily physically your cul-de-sac, but
Yeah.
you know, hypothetically speaking, fix your community, your group of friends. Because if we all can do that, if you all can impact five, 10 people in
Yeah.
your circle,
Hmm.
and every single person is doing that in the country, on the planet, that's a better place to live. But it's when we're not good to the people that are around us, and then that just spreads like cancer. It's like wildfire, because they're negative to you, you're negative to them, and then they're negative to their spouse, and then it's this
It's
trickle
just,
effect.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you just have to fix
contagious.
your cul-de-sac. Yeah,
No, no, I feel you. Yeah, I honestly wish that every person who's listening to this, like, would at least reevaluate
yeah,
um their mindset, their thinking on it.
totally.
I'm even listening and reading about it in the news like a lot.
Yeah,
Um, which the things that are happening are very sad and I'll say disgusting to begin with. All these shootings and killings that are um taking place, like the one that happened back in DC.
mm,
Um, and then the whole nation is blaming for it because that person did come from that specific country.
that's right.
Um, so it's yeah, it is happening in the politics. It is in everywhere. And recently I have been noticing that the fact that the whole community in the world is becoming more polarizing, it has gave permission to people to become polarized. Like even if they were thinking about it before, they were not acting on it.
Now it's
Um,
validated. Yeah,
Now it's validated
right.
because it's everywhere. It's
Yeah,
even the leaders um, in the country, different countries, like they're all doing it. So now it's validated.
yeah.
Um, I was watching a video from Meryl Streep. Um, I think it was the Oscars. I forgot um,
Oh
exactly
yeah, her speech
what.
that she made, I think.
Yeah, I forgot which award ceremony it was,
Yeah.
but I still remember when she was giving a speech where she was saying a reporter was made fun of.
Hmm.
Um, and then the fact that it made her sad was um, because now it gives permission to people. Now it validates. And that was like, I think 8 years ago,
Yeah.
something around that.
Yeah, it's only gotten worse.
Yeah, says it has only got worse.
Well, and I think things are heightened, right? Because we're able to look at all these videos and
Yeah.
because of social media, and you're able to
Hmm.
get all this information that we weren't able to decades ago, and we're just not able to handle it. Our bodies can't handle
Yeah.
getting all that information, and then it reacts in a negative and angry way. Because if you think, oh, I saw 100 videos of, Donald Trump being a complete a hole,
Yeah.
and then you don't realize that there's 700 videos of him being nice, but you don't see
Hmm.
those. You only see the 100 because the algorithm's really good at feeding you what you
Oh yeah,
like.
because exactly it feeds you what you like. I open
Right.
my social media, Instagram, threads, like it just shows me all the things I like, and it's
Because
all
it wants you
ne
on there.
yeah,
Yeah.
negative, negative, negative. And I was just
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I just so
Yeah.
it comes to a level where I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's not just read it anymore.
Yeah,
Let's
and
just not.
the perfect um, analogy I would say with social media is the bartender that should kick you out of the bar after you've had a lot of drinks,
Hmm.
but he's now giving you free drinks
Yeah. No, free
because we
drinks.
should
Yeah, everyone come in.
yeah, we should get off our phone. We should, but
Hmm.
social media is like, hey man, get over here, look at
Come
this
on.
video that you like, come
We have a
on.
discount.
Check it out. And then
Sale Black Friday.
here's an ad of something that you talked about
Yeah,
with your wife the other day.
there you go.
Yeah, it's just it gives you everything that you want. And that is the problem. And I think it gets amplified. And unfortunately
Hmm.
our leaders know that. And you know, they're gonna leverage that because they
Yeah,
know that's how they get attention and how they get votes. So it's made everything much
worse.
worse.
Yeah,
There's no
no, I agree.
positives anymore from social
Hmm.
media. It's
So, you
except
know,
this podcast. When people listening to
yeah,
this podcast from social media, that's okay.
yeah.
But everything
No, I
else,
know. We're well, that's another thing I like about podcasts. Because you get to share your views and it's reality, no anesthesia.
that's right.
You know? No more.
Tagline
Yeah,
mentioned.
exactly. Um, I've read a lot of history. Um, it was mandatory course back in Iran. So we did study a lot of, populations, governments, and things coming and going.
Hmm.
What I learned is that, and again, that was one of the things that my history professor actually told me, was that people don't study history a lot and they always forget very quick. Um,
Right.
so the history keeps repeating itself over and over and over. Um, yes, we are evolving as a community as the technology is evolving, but the things
Right.
that are happening, like generally, it just goes on and on. Um, so seeing the current climate, my prediction honestly is that after a polarized like period, we will have a very good very ha we're gonna have a good period following it, where people learn from their mistakes and then they empathize and they become nice to each other and then repeat and then repeat.
Yeah.
So that was a thing that I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
That's a
Yeah.
great way of yeah, of looking at history. I think I agree with that. The only thing I probably don't agree with is the fact that that would have been true before social media. Like
Okay.
it's I just think we're at the point now where we can't like the social media is not going to change the algorithm, right? And the problem with the
Mm-hmm.
algorithm, I would say we would change as a society. Could you say we
Okay.
might switch and become better?
Yeah.
I'm very optimistic about humanity, but I
Yeah.
think the only way we can do that is if the algorithm changes
Changes.
to things that we don't like.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, imagine you're a Democrat and you're
Yeah.
scrolling social media. Instead of seeing a bunch of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and,
Yeah.
you know, Obama and all that, now you start seeing Trump and JD Vance and like all that. And you might not like it.
No.
And,
Mm-hmm.
but you would look at it and be like, whew, okay, this is the opposite side. All right, interesting. But what if you only showed the good stuff of those folks? And then
Mm-hmm.
vice versa. What if you voted for Donald Trump, but you only see the good stuff about Democrats? You know, a perfect
True.
example is CNN versus Fox, right?
Do you think you get so affected that it's out of control?
That's right. Because I think no matter what, if you watch only CNN or only left wing shows,
Shows.
if you watch Fox News, you're thinking they're batshit crazy.
Bet you. No.
And the opposite is true. If you only watch Fox, then it's batshit
Hmm.
crazy. So what's the problem with that? The problem is both of them might be right, but you're
True.
never going to know because you're
Yeah.
only watching
Who do you
one
think
side or the other.
is controlling the social media? Like
Um,
who's behind the
I
whole
think,
power or
yeah,
mindset behind it?
Dude, for a while I thought it was like Zuckerberg and like all these guys that were like left leaning.
They
But
own
I
the
think now
company.
they're,
Hmm.
but now they're starting to kind of get more middle because they realize how toxic it is to favor one side.
Yeah.
Um, not to get too political, but I think the whole like Joe Biden laptop and the Russia collusion with Donald Trump, like all that stuff, we now know that the mass media, whether they thought it was real information or not,
Yeah.
was literally calling Mark Zuckerberg uh, and Jack Dorsey, the ex owner of
The
Twitter,
ex-owner.
and they were
Hmm.
telling them that this was factual information. Like for sure, Donald Trump is a Russian spy. There's no question; it's 100% true. We obviously know no, that's not true, or else he would have been incarcerated and put in prison by all the other presidents before him. but we but we just know that was a really good piece of propaganda that worked very well.
Hmm.
And I'm
Hmm.
not saying I agree or disagree with it. I'm just saying it's been true on the other side as well. Like the
Hmm.
Republicans have fed a bunch of information about Hillary Clinton that
Hmm.
we don't know if factually that's true.
That's true. Hmm.
But at the same time, every Republican believed it, just like every Democrat believed that for sure. Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, they're definitely sleeping together. They're lovers, like for sure. They're in cahoots. They're not, though. Obviously, they're not. Um,
Yeah.
so, this is the problem, I think, and the danger with social media as a whole. It's like you can't you can't push information that you don't know is
That you didn't know.
correct.
Hmm.
And the issue with the fact checkers and everything that Facebook tried to do, we now know that the fact checkers on Facebook were left leaning. That's a problem
True. Yeah.
because, how can we have someone that is objective and in the middle? The answer might be artificial intelligence. But even
Well,
that,
that's even more scary.
and yeah, but even that has now been shown that that's a little bit more left leaning, especially like the Google algorithms, where if you asked it like the founding fathers, I don't know if you've seen this, but when they first launched AI at Google, they asked, give me a realistic depiction of what the founding fathers look like, and they were like
Hmm.
mostly minority women.
Hmm.
So you could, they're not saying that minority women can't be in power, but that's factually incorrect. We know the founding fathers were not black Spanish women. Everybody could agree with that. But the problem is you asked an AI model to give you that and it spit that information out. And that's the reason is because the AI model was trained to favor minorities and women.
Hmm.
Again, we're not saying there's anything wrong with that, but factually that is incorrect. Um, and it's important, I think, a distinction where like men treated women horribly for centuries, for thousands of years. You don't hide that from AI. Embrace it because that is true. It's like we delete all the books that have slavery in it. What? No, because white men were horrible back then. We need to hold ourselves accountable. It talks about accountability that we mentioned before. And I
Exactly.
think that's the weird thing where social media is starting to realize,
Hmm.
oh, I can't pick a side because eventually it's going to backfire.
Yeah.
And that's what's kind of scary is like there's always going to be a person on the top. There's always going to be like an Elon Musk that is more right leaning, right? And that's his problem. Same thing with all the other social media companies. It's like, can't someone just be in the middle? Like, is it so
Yeah.
hard?
Just someone in
Just
the
be
middle
objective.
who would have, I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like someone with a brain in the middle who has common sense and just thinks
Right.
logically, like a normal person.
Yeah.
Like, don't be so extreme. Just
Right.
be intermediate, and then
Yeah.
try to move forward. Like, try to
Right.
listen to the both parties, grab the best of both, because
Correct. Yeah.
none of them are
Because there are some
wrong
good
and
things.
none of them are right completely. It's just
Right.
just grab the best of both ideas
Mhm.
and let the country grow. Let the people evolve. Like, it's not that
Yeah.
hard. But I feel
Because a lot of people don't realize that's a true democracy.
that is a true to the
That's
democracy
a true
because
democracy.
you
Yeah.
are
We're not
putting
we're
in
not
the
in a
I
true democracy right now.
no, no, we're not.
Yeah.
It's I don't even know what to call it anymore, to be honest. But just grab the when you're elected official, just listen to the both sides. I know you're representing your party, but the
Right.
other side doesn't have bad ideas either. Just work
Yeah.
together. Listen to each other and move forward. Right now, what we're observing is mostly, I feel, a bunch of kids just
Want to be
fighting.
popular.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Who's
fighting.
who's
And
going to be the popular kid in
yeah,
school?
and
Yeah.
I wish there was a parent amongst them who'd be like, "Hey, sit down and
Yeah.
just I don't know." It's
Dude, I think that's going to be AI. Eventually, AI is going to take over the planet, and it's going to say,
yeah. So
all
AI
right,
is going to be
kids,
our parents
this
and be
whole,
like,
yeah,
guys, this
it's gonna
planet
be like,
wouldn't survive like this. We're if you
I'm going
don't
to
do
take
this,
over.
yeah, I'm gonna take over and I'm gonna make you humans behave.
Yeah. 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 It's a scary time, man. And I think what's so funny that I was talking uh, to this guy named Will Tuttle, who's a monk,
Hmm.
and he's not a monk anymore, but he now is very spiritual. And I had him on my podcast. It's going to be the first episode of 2026. But we were talking about how humans have been for centuries, and then you look at other cultures, and the difference between other cultures and where America is in specifically,
Hmm.
is we have really went from like 100 really quick
Yeah.
to the point now where like we're destroying the country. Like from uh, a civil standpoint, we have really gone away from our roots big time. And think about it, we're only 3 people old. So like if one person lived to 3 people ago was founding fathers, 1776. So not that long ago. So we've essentially destroyed what this country was built on in less than 300 years. Meanwhile, you look at like places like China and all these other are developing, maybe not in the ways that we are, and there's a lot of negatives, of course, from that spiritual standpoint. Mentally, educationally, they're some of the smartest people on the planet, and there's a reason, mostly because they get tortured to correctly learn it. But like when you look at like how they think and how intelligent they are, and they use objective thinking, and even China doesn't allow them to use TikTok. Like they have a separate
Hmm.
version of TikTok that is for smart people
So they can
because they
control
know that
them.
we are so toxic.
Hmm.
Yeah, 100% for sure. But little do you know that the TikTok and Facebook and is controlling us just in a
Oh,
different way.
yeah,
You
100%.
know, we don't we, we don't think about it because we're not a communist country, but they are 100% controlling us. Like they're making us literally look at these phones 24/7, and we're just not smart enough to understand that we are being controlled, and
Yeah.
it's a different way, and we can't, like, even this new update on Instagram is hilarious to me, where you can now watch Instagram on your TV. They're
Hmm.
testing this out in certain states. So literally you don't have to scroll anymore. You just use your remote.
Just use your
So you could
remote.
sit big TV and you're watching, you know, Kim Kardashian clips, and it's just it's it's crazy, and
It's
it's
crazy.
kind of terrifying because especially as a father, like the way we act, I 100% believe it's that dopamine that we're getting from social media, and
Hmm.
we're not able to handle it, and this political violence, and all the stuff, the just the toxic behavior that is happening, I
Hmm.
don't think would exist without social media. And
I think
you know
I second that. I second that.
yeah,
Um, because we're getting affected more than even we think by social
right.
media these days. Um, I was just looking at my grandparents. They didn't have a
Mm,
phone. They didn't have social media.
right.
Sometimes I wish I lived in their era
For
because
real.
life was way more simple. Yes, we have technology, but life was way more simple. And I look at the things they did. They enjoyed the simplicity of life. They enjoyed
Mm,
um, gatherings, family gatherings, just a dinner with friends, just a travel.
yeah. And how about the
Come.
food back then? The food was
Oh
amazing.
my gosh, I know, I know.
Like 5 ingredients and
I still
everything.
love the food my grandma makes. She's the only one I have left out of the
Wow.
four. They all passed away. Um, but I look at their lifestyle and I set them as an example for myself that,
Totally.
hey, I want to be like my grandpa
Totally.
because their lifestyle was way more simple. It was more um they enjoyed life to its truest meaning.
That's right.
if I that's the way to put it. And sometimes
That's
I
right.
feel even there's a chip installed in our heads without us even knowing it. I think about traveling. Hey,
Mm,
I want to book a travel for February. I have not talked about it to someone. I have not discussed it with someone. And then I just go browse on my phone and I see travel ads. And I was like, okay, this is still like too much. Like, did I Google it somewhere? I don't remember.
yeah.
Did I talk about it and my phone listen to it? I don't know. Like, it's becoming a
Hmm.
bit too scary sometimes.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely one of those things where you have to be cognizant of it. And I think in 2026, I've started already, but I'm going to really make a point to where I just do post and ghost. Like I
Yeah, you're just gonna set a
scroll.
limit for yourself, right?
Yeah, and then I make a rule where I don't scroll until I post. So like something for my business or something, that I'm
Mm-hmm.
promoting or my podcast, obviously because that's putting value out to the world that I
Yeah,
want to share. So that's posting. That's like doing something for me or my business. And then I could scroll. But when you grab your phone and scroll, it's again, I go back to drinking in the bar. It's very similar to just showing up to the bar and drink it on your own versus going to the bar, drinking with the buddy that you haven't seen in 10 years, having a conversation, catching up, getting to know someone
and
that you
then going
love.
from there.
That's a
Mm-hmm.
different thing, right? Because you're going, there's value in that meetup at the bar. But if you show up to the bar drinking by yourself, that's a problem. And
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what you're doing when you're scrolling is you're just showing up and you're scrolling for zero. There's no reason. You're going to get some laughs, sure. But in terms of like physically and mentally, there's no benefit to it. Like cognitively, you're actually declining. A lot of studies are showing that people that use phones more than not are showing
Mm-hmm.
cognitive decline, which means you're getting stupider. It's just now we have enough
I
studies
can
resulting in
tell.
that.
I can tell.
Yes,
No, I
I'm stupider for sure
well,
because of this.
we are all like that. I used to be way smarter and way more active
Right,
as a kid when there was no phone. I think
for sure.
us millennials
Yeah,
experienced the best of both worlds maybe for a while.
because we know the negatives of it and we can remember the
Yeah,
positives.
exactly.
Having
Because we
yeah,
experience, I used to play as a kid in the streets with my friends. Like we played football
right,
when I came back home from school,
totally,
and I did all of this, group activities with other kids. But then I look at my cousin, like he's constantly on his iPad
right.
as a kid, and that scares me. And I was like, do I want my kid to be like that? Probably not. But it's out of control.
Yeah.
Like I may not be able to control my kid either because he wants that iPad eventually at some point.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
dude, you're speaking to the choir because that's one thing we're challenged with. We don't we do homeschool, so we don't drop off get our childcare. She doesn't have any play dates or anything. Be,
mhm,
not because we don't want her to socialize, because people aren't ready for it. People aren't ready to not put down the device. There's a lot of parents I talk to, close friends of mine, that I don't say anything, but I talk shit a lot about them on my podcast. I don't mention their names, but they probably know who they are. But they have multiple kids. Sometimes
mhm.
some of them even have three kids, and they're iPad kids. They're 3 years old holding an iPad. Um, to each their own. But I've done enough research and studies that I know that that is quite literally killing your child,
Killing your
like
child. Hmm.
mentally. It's not. It's the worst thing you can do for them. They even say that you shouldn't have any screen time at all, like not even TVs. A lot of studies like Coco Melon and these TV shows that are coming out, where behind the scenes, the people that make those shows literally are child psychologists and they're trained to make the show addicting for kids.
Hmm.
That is sadistic to me. That is crazy that you're hooking these kids that are 2 and 3 years old, and now they're not getting outside anymore, which means they're not touching the grass anymore. They're not looking at birds and touching a caterpillar. Like these are things that we have to do as humans. And I'm so blessed because I'm such a psycho with it now that it's allowed me to go out barefoot more and to go outside more and get some more sunshine. And I work out more because my kid watches me work out in the garage. Like these are things that I think we got to get back to as a society where we have to get disconnected, get off the screens,
Hmm.
and having kids and having this opportunity to show them what life could be like doesn't mean we shouldn't use social media or technology because these are some great tools. But similar to like you're not going to give your kid a tattoo when they're 10.
Hmm. Use it in a responsible way.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But
That's right.
what's the limit and where is the limit? I think
Exactly.
it can be different for everyone.
For sure.
Um,
For sure.
but people, I think it's good for everyone to be aware at least.
Correct.
That
At least
hey,
be aware of it. Be aware of what you're really doing.
hmm
And that's
and how
also
it's affecting you.
yeah, and it's not a bash on parents. I say this all the time because we're just not in a society where you can't do it. Meaning, like you probably give your kid an iPad not because you're a bad person or a bad parent. You know it's bad, but you're busy. You're
Hmm.
working. You got shit to do because you don't get paid enough.
Yeah.
There's not enough. There's not
You
enough
know,
reimbursement. Maybe healthcare is too
when
expensive
those
for you.
moments when I'm like, oh, your kid is like on iPad so much, and then the parents tell me, I wish like I can't wait to see you as a parent. Like
Yeah.
because sometimes the parents are they just want a free time. They're just like, oh my
Right.
God, we're tired of this.
Yeah.
We just want a break.
Yeah. And that's the hard reality is like you want to break, but that's just the wrong way to do it. And
That's just the wrong way
unfortunately,
to do it. Hmm.
but you look at yourself like as a 30 or 40-year-old person like me, like before a kid, I used to spend 7, 8 hours a day on my device. So naturally, it's a reaction to give your kid an iPad. But
An iPad.
just
Hmm.
but just so you know, did you buy an iPad for your kid? That's a problem, right? Like if you have your own iPad, sell your iPad. What do you need it for? I have an iPad, I have a MacBook, I have two phones. Like what am I doing here? Like we don't need all that stuff.
Nope.
But I could guarantee you my kid doesn't even know what an iPad is because I keep that locked up in my studio. She has no clue. She'll never see it until we decide it makes sense because there's no reason for that. There's no benefit. I would
If you
rather
don't
her
introduce it, they will never know.
yeah,
Yeah.
again, it's like she's not big into sweets or seasonings or, candy. We just choose not to give her candy. She's 2 years old. There's no benefit to it. Like even during Halloween, we did a thing called Switch Witch
I
where
tell you that as a dentist, I'm very thrilled to hear that.
I bet. And as a dentist, you speak to it like what candy?
Hmm.
Can you name one?
My favorite
Protein?
candy
Is
or
there any
any
protein in
candy?
there? Like what are the benefits? Like what do you
Oh,
get from it?
nothing,
Anything
nothing.
good? Nothing.
It's just like social media. It just increases your pleasure like to the roof
Temporarily.
with the high sugar temporarily, and it suddenly drops it.
Yeah.
So mostly, I would say
Why
it's
give
just
that? Yeah.
yeah, it's just harming
It's
you.
horrific. So yeah, so
No
why give it to a
benefit.
2-year-old, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. And that goes the same thing with even adults. Like, what are we doing? Like, have you ever had drugs? They're amazing.
yeah, they're amazing, and then they're gonna
But
crash your
yeah,
dopamine
you
like
probably shouldn't
quickly.
do just because it's so good and it's a temporary feel. You probably shouldn't do crack. I'm sure crack is amazing, but you probably shouldn't do
Haven't
it.
tried it, so can tell for experience. But I guess the
Me,
people who do it, they get a
yes.
pleasure from it,
They
obviously.
obviously love it.
Yeah, then
And
they
so
obviously love it.
why not just give your 18-year-old kid crack? I'm sure it's great. Oh, you don't do it because it's bad for him. Okay, that makes sense. So let's use that same logical thinking
Same logical thinking for
for candy,
yourself when you're adult. Yeah.
for fast food, for
Hmm.
the list goes on and on. So I think we just have to get back to being human and taking our time, being
Hmm.
logical with stuff, and realizing that everything you put in your face and everything you do to your body, it's
It's
been
gonna affect you
manufactured.
somehow.
Yeah. It's going to
If not
affect you
now, in the long
down
term,
the
it will
road.
show.
Yeah.
That's very true.
And we have to remember it's been manufactured to get you to buy it.
Oh
So
yeah.
like the
It's a
reason why
marketing world, right?
the reason why Halloween exists is because candy companies made it so.
Hmm.
Oat Hallow Eve, the traditional Halloween back in the day, it's not passing around candy.
Hmm.
Same thing with Coca-Cola. A lot of people don't know this, but Santa Claus, he's coming up in a couple days.
Yep.
Coca-Cola invented Santa Claus, what we know now. People
Huh.
can look this up. I don't give you the whole history, but back in the day, Santa Claus was like green and gray, his outfit, and it was Saint Nick. And there was a bunch of different stories.
I
And
did not
Coca-Cola,
know that.
yeah, Coca-Cola about 100 years ago when they first started, they realized that, you know, uh, they realized, wait a minute, people are only buying Coca-Cola during the summer. How can we get them to buy Coke during the winter? So
Hmm.
now that's why you realize Pepsi and all these other companies don't have Santa Claus on their cans. It's because it's proprietary and owned by Coca-Cola.
And owned by Coca-Cola.
And they invented this thing 100 years ago that this entire country that this is the best Christian holiday. It's not. The whole history of Santa going down the chimney, it's all made up. Now there is like Saint Nick and Kris Kringle, like all these fables and these stories. Those are true. But Santa Claus in the red outfit and going down the chimney, dropping off presents, that's all made up, kiddos.
It's all made up, kiddos.
So buy a company that wants to sell you more Coke.
Well, tell you what, as a person who did not celebrate Christmas for a long time, we have a different set of system in New Year in Iran, a whole different calendar. The thing I mostly love, and I don't know why, maybe it's because he's very naughty, but I like the Grinch.
Oh, the Grinch is the man.
The Grinch is the man.
Yeah.
I just find him very pure and honest, and with his,
Yes.
right? Um, yeah, and he has been
I feel like the
mistreated,
Grinch. I feel
but I
like the
like
Grinch
him.
is what everybody really is. You know, they
Yeah,
just don't want to admit it.
it's just a
It's just,
reality, right?
yeah,
Hey, embrace your Grinch.
that's right.
Embrace the Grinch within you.
Well,
Um,
the holidays
my
coming up. Everybody embrace the Grinch. Yeah.
There you go. Did you try the Grinch meal from McDonald's?
No, they have a Grinch meal.
Yeah. My
Oh my
cousin
God.
is obsessed about it. We keep planning to get a Grinch meal from McDonald's
You
every
get like a toy
weekend.
and everything too.
Uh, yes, and it's for adults, actually. It has like socks or other things with the Grinch style theme inside
Oh
it,
my God.
and they're selling big bucks on it.
That's hilarious. Jeez.
Yeah.
That's
I'll
how they
send
do
you
it.
I'll send you a picture when I get a Grinch meal.
Please do. That's hilarious. I love it.
Okay. Tony, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure, man.
I
Thanks for
want to
having me on.
respect your time so you can go get your family as well. I know it's a Sunday and it's a day for family.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
And thank you for being my first guest and my mentor on this
Pleasure, man.
episode. Obviously, I have to listen to it a lot and then correct myself and learn from it.
That's
But
it.
I think
That's
for the first episode, we had a good run.
It was a good, yeah, I loved it. It was good. And they
Yeah.
talk about a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the beauty of a good podcast is when you have questions and you're interviewing people and you're like, oh, let's cut to a commercial break.
Yeah.
Those are stupid ones. But when you could just talk and have good conversations
Conversation.
that get you to think a little bit, those are the best ones. So you did
Mhm.
great, and I'm excited to hear
Awesome.
more. I can't wait to subscribe.
Yeah.
And
Thanks,
everybody
man.
listening better subscribe to this show.
Yeah,
It's
there
awesome.
you go.
Please fasten your seatbelts.